Little Fox. Rapunzel. Episode 1. Rapunzel's Birthday. Once, there was a girl named Rapunzel. Her family lived on a small farm. Rapunzel loved to work in the garden. She also loved to sing.
Plant the seeds just so.
Rapunzel sang.
Watch the green beans grow. Plant the seeds just so. Watch the green beans grow.
On this day, Rapunzel turned 10. Her birthday was usually a happy day. But today, Mama and Papa were acting strange.
Why is Papa looking at the road?
Rapunzel thought.
Someone is coming!
Papa cried.
Rapunzel, hide!
What? Why?
Rapunzel was confused.
Quick, Rapunzel! Now!
Mama said. Rapunzel crawled under a bush.
Why do I have to hide?
She thought.
This is so strange.
Suddenly, a bird flew into the bush. Rapunzel smiled.
Would you like some seeds, bird?
The bird hopped onto Rapunzel's hand. It ate the seeds. Mama was peering over the fence.
Phew!
She said.
It was just a farmer. He is going to the market.
Rapunzel popped up.
I wish we could go to the market. It would be fun to go to the city.
Papa shook his head.
The city is not safe.
Rapunzel frowned.
We never go anywhere. We never meet anyone new.
Rapunzel looked from her father to her mother.
What are you scared of?
Papa did not answer. Mama bit her lip.
She is 10 years old today. We must tell her.
Tell me what?
Rapunzel asked. Papa sighed.
Come with me.
Papa led Rapunzel to a small hill. He bent down and grabbed a rock. Rapunzel gasped.
That's not a rock. It's a door handle.
Papa opened the door. Inside was a small room.
I built this for you, Rapunzel.
Papa said.
You must hide here when the witch comes.
Rapunzel, Episode 2, Papa's Story.
A witch?
Rapunzel laughed.
Silly, Papa. Witches only appear in fairy tales.
Papa shook his head.
Witches are real. I must tell you a story.
Rapunzel listened as Papa began.
We used to live in the city. Mama was going to have a baby, but she was very sick. Next door lived a witch with a big garden. The witch grew lots of plants. She made healing potions and spells. One day, Mama looked into the witch's garden. She saw fresh green Rapunzel.
It will make me well,
she said. So I went to the market for Rapunzel. Mama ate some and got well. Every day I bought her more, but then I couldn't find any Rapunzel. Mama grew sicker and sicker. One night, I climbed into the witch's garden. I picked Rapunzel, and the witch appeared.
Thief!
She cried.
I will turn you into a hedgehog!
Please, I begged her. My wife is going to have a baby. She must eat Rapunzel or she will die. The witch laughed.
Take my Rapunzel! You can repay me later with your child. When the child turns 10, it will be mine.
Never! I cried and ran home. But the next day, Mama grew even sicker. She was going to die, so...
You went back to the garden.
Rapunzel said. Papa nodded.
The witch gave me some Rapunzel, and Mama got better. We moved here to hide you, but...
Papa bit his lip.
Now you're 10.
Rapunzel patted his arm.
Don't worry, Papa. That mean old witch probably forgot about me.
Just then, Mama ran over. Her eyes were wide with fright.
Someone is coming. It's the witch!
Rapunzel, Episode 3, The Witch. Mama pushed Rapunzel into the secret room.
Hide!
She said.
Don't make a sound!
Papa said. He closed the door and they hurried away. Rapunzel thought. She opened the door a crack to see. An old woman stomped over to Rapunzel's parents. She wore a beautiful silk shawl. The woman glared at Mama and Papa.
You thought you could run away from me? Well, now I have found you. Where is that baby of yours?
Mama gulped.
Our daughter is dead.
Papa nodded.
She's very dead. It happened, last winter.
Rapunzel groaned. Her parents never lied,
And they're not very good at it.
she thought.
Liars!
The witch shouted at Mama and Papa.
You are trying to break your promise.
Rapunzel gulped. The witch looked very angry. Just then, the witch spotted the bird in the bush. She pointed at it and said a strange word.
Grab it.
The bird turned into a small hedgehog. The hedgehog fell to the ground. It curled into a ball.
Poor thing.
Rapunzel whispered.
This is all my fault.
Rapunzel had to stop the witch.
But how?
She thought.
I do not know any magic.
Beware!
The witch snapped at Mama and Papa.
I can do lots of magic. Your daughter will come with me, or I will turn you into hedgehogs.
Mama grabbed Papa's hand.
Our daughter is never going with you.
Papa scowled.
Never!
The witch stomped her foot.
Very well.
The witch pointed her finger at Mama and Papa. She opened her mouth and...
No!
Rapunzel cried. She ran out of the secret room. Rapunzel jumped in front of her parents.
Here I am, witch!
She said. Rapunzel, Episode 4, Hedgehogs.
Rapunzel, no!
Papa shouted. He looked frightened.
Run away!
Mama glared at the witch.
Leave my daughter alone!
It's okay.
Rapunzel said bravely.
I do not want you to turn into hedgehogs. I will go with the witch. I will visit you often.
At least you are wise, girl.
The witch said. Her face turned dark.
But you can never visit your parents. They would only hide you from me again.
Rapunzel folded her arms.
I will work hard for you, witch. But I must visit my family.
The witch shook her finger at Rapunzel.
I said you can never visit your parents. If you do, I will turn them into hedgehogs. Do you understand?
Tears filled Rapunzel's eyes.
I must be brave.
She thought. She quickly wiped her tears away.
Yes, I understand.
Good!
The witch snapped.
Now, come with me. It's a long trip to the city. And I am already tired.
Rapunzel turned to her parents. Tears rolled down Mama's face.
We will think of you every day.
Mama said.
We will miss you so much.
Papa said. Rapunzel reached out to hug them, but the witch yanked her arm.
Come along!
She said harshly.
Now!
The witch dragged Rapunzel away. Rapunzel looked back at her parents.
I will never forget them.
She thought.
I will find a way to return home. Oops!
Suddenly, Rapunzel tripped over something. It was the hedgehog. Rapunzel scooped it up. She dropped it into her pocket. The witch spun around.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Rapunzel said quickly. She hurried after the witch. In Rapunzel's pocket, the hedgehog wiggled. Rapunzel patted it.
You need a friend.
She whispered.
And so do I.
Rapunzel, Episode 5, The Flying Shawl. The witch took off her shawl. She spread it on the ground. Then she pointed at it.
Get on!
She croaked. Rapunzel sat on the shawl.
Up!
The witch said. Rapunzel blinked in surprise. The shawl floated into the air. The shawl flew above the road. Soon, they reached the city. Rapunzel saw the market and the king's palace. At last, the shawl landed near a house.
We are home.
The witch said. Rapunzel scowled.
This is not my home.
She thought. Rapunzel followed the witch inside. There was a room with a bed and desk.
This is your bedroom.
The witch said. The witch led her through the rest of the house. There was a big kitchen. Another room was a library. Rapunzel gazed at all the books on magic.
Can I learn magic?
She asked hopefully. With the right spells, she could go home and...
No!
The witch snapped.
Well, maybe you can help me with healing potions. But magic can be dangerous. You must never come into this library alone.
Rapunzel sighed and followed the witch outside. They went into a beautiful garden.
I use these plants for healing potions.
The witch said.
You will take good care of them.
Rapunzel smiled.
I like gardening.
She started weeding. The witch nodded.
Good girl.
She went back into the house. Rapunzel took out the hedgehog.
I will call you Prickle.
She whispered.
You can live in this garden.
Prickle squeaked. Rapunzel sang as she worked. The witch returned.
You have a pretty voice.
I was singing Mama's favorite song.
Rapunzel said. The witch growled.
Forget your parents and never sing that song again. You belong here now with me.
Rapunzel, Episode 6, Dear Mama and Papa. A few years passed. One morning, Rapunzel was in her room. She was writing a letter.
Dear Mama and Papa, the witch is mean, but I am fine. I like to help in the garden. I like to mix potions for her too. The witch says magic words over the potions, but she will not teach me magic. Ha! Maybe she's afraid I'll put a spell on her. Every week we go to the market to sell potions. Sometimes the king's servant visits us. He comes for hair potion. The king does not want to go bald. I will be 13 soon. The witch thinks I forgot about you. But I never will. Love, Rapunzel.
Rapunzel sighed. She wrote to her parents every week, but there was no way to send the letters. so she just ripped them up. Once, the witch saw Rapunzel writing a letter. She snatched it away from her. Then she locked Rapunzel in her room for a week. Rapunzel ripped up the newest letter.
Someday I will escape.
She thought.
Someday I will go home again.
Suddenly, she heard a shout from the hall.
A hedgehog!
The witch yelled.
It's in the house! I hate hedgehogs!
Rapunzel gasped.
Oh no! Prickle!
She thought.
The witch found him!
She ran into the hall. The witch was looking around.
I saw a hedgehog! It is hiding somewhere. Rapunzel, help me find it!
Rapunzel ran to one end of the hall. The witch went the other way.
Prickle!
Rapunzel whispered. Something nearby moved. It was Prickle. He dashed into a nearby room. Rapunzel gulped.
Oh no!
Prickle was in the library. Rapunzel, Episode 7, In the Library. Rapunzel stepped slowly into the library. Prickle darted under a bookshelf. Rapunzel tiptoed across the room.
Come out, Prickle.
She whispered.
Right now, or we'll be in big trouble.
Rapunzel looked at the bookshelves. There were so many magic books.
I'll look at just one.
Rapunzel thought. She opened a small book of potions.
Here's the king's hair potion. I mix this potion often.
The book had magic words in it too.
Harvax,
Rapunzel whispered.
Vaxigvax.
She turned a page and gasped.
A changing potion.
She thought.
I could turn Prickle back into a bird.
Rapunzel!
The witch yelled again.
Did you find that horrible hedgehog?
Rapunzel stuffed the book into her pocket. Then she scooped up Prickle. She slipped him into another pocket.
Here I am!
Rapunzel rushed into the hallway. The witch stomped out of the kitchen.
Where were you?
The witch asked.
I found the hedgehog.
Rapunzel said quickly.
I put it back outside.
Good.
The witch nodded.
We must make potions now. I need some to sell at the market today. And the king needs more hair potion.
For the rest of the morning, Rapunzel mixed potions. The witch whispered lots of magic words. Rapunzel listened hard, but she couldn't hear the words. In her pocket, Prickle wiggled. Rapunzel tapped him gently.
Be still, Prickle.
She thought.
Rapunzel!
The witch frowned.
What's in your pocket?
Rapunzel jumped. Her arm bumped the bottles of hair potion. The bottles tipped, and then splash! Potion spilled all over the table and floor. It splattered Rapunzel's face and clothing.
Rapunzel!
the witch cried.
Clean up this mess at once! You spilled hair potion everywhere!
Rapunzel, Episode 8, A Long Braid.
I'm sorry!
Rapunzel said. The witch was furious.
You are so careless! Now we must start all over again! We'll be late for the market!
Rapunzel began to clean up the mess. She wiped up the potion on the table. She mopped up the puddles on the floor.
Ugh,
She said.
I'm a mess too.
Potion dripped from her clothes. It dripped from her braid. Rapunzel cleaned herself up. Then she mixed more hair potion.
Leave that here!
The witch snapped.
The king's servant will come for it later. Put the other potions in my basket. Hurry! We have to go to the market now!
Soon they left for the market. They walked slowly along the road. Suddenly, the witch stopped. She stared at Rapunzel.
Oh no!
Rapunzel thought. Prickle was moving in her pocket. Could the witch see him and the magic book?
What did you do to your hair?
The witch snapped.
My hair?
Rapunzel said.
Nothing. Why?
Rapunzel touched her braid. It was still wet. She thought. It also felt longer. Rapunzel looked down and gasped. Her hair was growing to her knees.
You silly goose!
The witch cried.
You spilled hair potion on your hair!
Rapunzel's hair kept growing. Soon, her braid touched the ground.
My hair is so long. Ugh!
Rapunzel moaned.
Can you cut it?
The witch shook her head.
I didn't bring scissors! You'll have to wait!
At the market, Rapunzel set out the potions for sale. A boy came over.
What happened to your hair?
He asked. Rapunzel looked down, about to cry. Her head felt so heavy. And when she looked up again, everyone was staring at her. Rapunzel, Episode 9, The Market.
I'm sorry.
The boy said quickly.
I didn't mean to upset you. Your hair is really pretty.
Rapunzel looked at the boy. He had a nice smile. He was very friendly. She tried to smile back.
Thank you.
The witch stomped over to them.
Go away, boy! We're busy!
Rapunzel blushed. The witch was so rude sometimes. Just then, a woman hurried over. "Do you have a beauty potion?" she asked.
Of course.
The witch said. She began showing potions to the woman. The boy stepped closer to Rapunzel. He grinned.
I wish I worked for a witch. You must learn so much magic. I love learning new things.
So do I.
Rapunzel said. Then she sighed.
But I don't learn much magic. And living with a mean witch is lonely.
Just then, several farmers walked by. Rapunzel blinked in surprise.
My parents are with them.
She thought.
What's the matter?
The boy asked.
I'll be right back.
Rapunzel whispered.
Can you keep the witch busy?
The boy glanced at the witch.
I'll try.
Rapunzel hurried off. She slipped through the market. Then, oof! She tripped over her braid. Rapunzel got up and dusted off her hands. She stared at her parents. She had not seen them for years.
Will they still know me?
She thought. Mama and Papa moved away through the crowd. Rapunzel started after them again.
This is my chance.
She thought.
Finally, I can talk to them.
Stop!
A voice growled. A hand gripped her arm. Rapunzel spun around. It was the witch. The witch stared at the farmers. Her face turned dark. Her nails dug into Rapunzel's arm.
You are running away from me!
Rapunzel, Episode 10, Trapped in the Tower.
I wasn't running away.
Rapunzel cried.
I just wanted to see my parents. Please don't hurt them. They didn't see me.
You broke your promise!
The witch snarled. She dragged Rapunzel away. The boy ran after them.
Stop! Let her go!
The boy grabbed Rapunzel's hand. But the witch shoved him aside. She pulled off her shawl. Then she tossed it on the ground. She pushed Rapunzel onto the shawl. Whoosh! They flew out of the city.
Where are we going?
Rapunzel cried.
To a safe place!
The witch said. Soon they were deep in the forest. Rapunzel saw a tower with no door. They flew in through a window. The witch laughed.
Welcome to your new home!
Rapunzel shivered. It was a cold, dark room. She wrapped her long braid around herself.
Witch, you cannot leave me here.
Rapunzel said.
You are old and tired. You cannot tend the garden by yourself. And you need my help with the potions.
The witch shrugged.
I will bring work for you each day. You can mix potions here, and I can tend the garden by myself.
Rapunzel glared at her.
You are so mean. You stole me from my parents. But I will always love them, while you have no one who loves you.
The witch looked shocked. Slowly, she lifted her finger.
Go ahead.
Rapunzel cried.
Do it! Turn me into a hedgehog!
But the witch dropped her hand.
I'll be back tomorrow.
She growled. Then she flew off into the dark forest. Rapunzel fell to her knees.
Oh, Prickle!
She sobbed and pulled the hedgehog from her pocket.
We are trapped in this tower forever!
Rapunzel, Episode 11, The Eye Heal Potion. The next day, the witch returned. Prickle hid under the bed. The witch gave food to Rapunzel. Then she held out a list.
Mix these potions today. I'll get them tomorrow.
She looked in her basket again.
Oops.
What's wrong?
Rapunzel asked.
I forgot the scissors.
The witch said.
I can't cut your hair.
Rapunzel looked at her braid and shrugged.
I like long hair.
She said.
I don't want to cut it.
It is pretty.
The witch said.
I'll bring a hairbrush tomorrow.
Rapunzel scowled as the witch flew away.
She's acting kind because I can't escape.
Rapunzel felt sad and lonely. But her spirits lifted as she looked out the window. There was a beautiful view. She could see the city and the palace.
I wish I could see my farm.
She thought. Rapunzel began mixing potions. Then she pulled out the book.
The witch can't see me now, Prickle. Maybe I can learn magic after all.
Rapunzel started reading.
The changing potion sounds hard. So does the echo potion. I'll start with something easy. An eye heal potion.
Rapunzel mixed the new potion.
Okula Zoot!
It turned purple.
Did it work?
Rapunzel put a drop of potion in her eyes.
Amazing!
Now she could see far and wide. She could see people at the palace. And she could see her farm. Mama and Papa were picking beans. She waved and yelled,
Papa! Mama!
but they didn't look up.
I'll try that echo potion.
Rapunzel said. Quickly, she mixed the potion.
Deep breaks.
She dripped some into her mouth. Then she began to sing.
I wish I could go back to my home, my precious home.
The sound drifted toward Mama and Papa.
Could hear my songs that made my
But they didn't look up.
It didn't work, Prickle. But I'll keep trying.
Rapunzel, Episode 12, More Letters. Several years went by. Rapunzel missed her parents more than ever. She still wrote letters to them.
Dear Mama and Papa, it's very boring in this tower. I brush my hair. I read the magic book. I mix lots of potions. Some are for the witch. Some are for me. I keep mixing the echo potion, but it never works. I tried the changing potion again last week too. Skipty Brate Vera, I said. Then I poured the potion on Prickle. It just made him smell bad. I look out the window a lot. I like to watch the prince at the palace. I feel like I know him. But of course, I never met a prince. He often walks in the forest. He is searching for something. I wonder what it is. The witch heard me singing the other day. She got so mad. I think I know why she gets upset. She is very lonely. So today I made up a song just for her. It made her so happy. And suddenly I felt brave. I asked her when she would let me go.
Never!
The witch yelled. But then she surprised me. She said,
When you are 18.
I can return home when I'm 18. And here is more good news. I mixed the changing potion again this morning. This time I sang the words, Skipty Brate Vera, Skipty Brate Vera. The potion turned bright gold. I poured it on Prickle. Poof! He turned back into a bird. Prickle flew away into the woods. I was worried he was gone forever. But he came back. He brought me a ripe red strawberry. Someday the echo potion will work too. Your daughter forever, Rapunzel.
Rapunzel, Episode 13, Thorns. More years passed. The prince often walked in the forest. Sometimes his servant walked with him.
Can we please go?
His servant moaned.
It's cold and dark. There are sharp thorns everywhere.
Shh, the prince said.
I hear that lovely voice again. I must find the singer. Look!
The servant said suddenly. An old witch was flying through the trees.
What are you doing in this forest?
She yelled. The prince stared at her.
witch from the market!
he thought. The prince waved.
You have your flying shawl. Can you make one for me?
No!
The witch said.
It's a hard spell. It takes months and...
Be careful!
The prince said. Crash! The witch fell in a thorn bush.
Ouch!
She yelled. The prince lifted the witch from the thorn bush. He tried to remove her shawl next, but it was stuck to the thorns. Finally, the witch yanked it from the bush.
My shawl is ruined! Now I cannot fly for months! This is your fault!
I'm sorry.
The prince said.
You can ride my horse instead. And I can carry your heavy basket. Where are you going?
Nowhere!
The witch shouted.
Leave me alone!
She stuffed the ripped shawl into her basket. She stomped off through the trees. The servant sighed.
Can we go now?
The prince watched the witch leave. Suddenly, he remembered the girl with the long hair.
No.
He said.
Let's follow that witch.
In the tower, Rapunzel was waiting for the witch.
She is late today.
Rapunzel thought.
I wonder where she is.
Finally, she heard a sound.
I'm down here!
The witch yelled.
My flying shawl is ruined! I cannot get into the tower!
Rapunzel, Episode 14, The Boy from the Market. Rapunzel stared down at the witch. The witch could not get into the tower. But Rapunzel had an idea. Rapunzel leaned out the window. Then she dropped her long hair down.
Climb up!
She called. The witch snorted.
I'm too old for climbing!
Just try.
Rapunzel said. The witch looked scared, but she grabbed the hair. Rapunzel pulled. Slowly, the witch began to rise. The witch closed her eyes.
I'm dizzy! This was a bad idea!
Hold on tightly.
Rapunzel called. Rapunzel kept pulling on the braid. Finally, thunk! The witch landed inside the tower. The prince was hiding nearby. He watched the witch get into the tower.
Please?
His servant whispered.
Can we go? No.
The prince said.
I must talk to that girl.
The prince waited until the witch was gone. After dark, Rapunzel heard a strange voice.
Who's there?
She looked out the window. A young man stood below.
Do I know you?
She asked. The man nodded.
We met a long time ago at the market.
He stepped into the moonlight. Rapunzel gasped.
You're the prince! I see you at the palace.
Rapunzel let down her hair. The prince climbed up.
What are you doing in the forest?
Rapunzel asked.
I like to walk in the woods.
The prince said.
Sometimes I hear someone singing.
Rapunzel smiled and sang softly.
I wish I could go back to my home, my precious home. In the garden, you could hear my songs that made my parents happy. I wish
You are the singer!
The prince cried.
But why are you locked in this tower?
Rapunzel told him about the witch. The prince frowned and paced the room.
The witch cannot keep you here! My servant will fetch a ladder. And soon you will be free!
Rapunzel, Episode 15, More Visits. The prince wanted to free Rapunzel, but she shook her head.
I cannot leave. The witch will hurt my parents.
Then what will you do?
The prince asked.
You cannot stay here forever.
Very soon I will be 18.
Rapunzel said.
The witch promised to let me go then.
The prince sighed.
May I visit you again?
Rapunzel smiled.
Of course.
In the morning, the witch returned.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel,
She called.
let down your hair.
Rapunzel dropped down her hair. And in the evening, the prince returned.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair!
He climbed up.
I brought you some books!
He said. Rapunzel and the prince talked a lot. They sang together.
You are a beautiful singer!
The prince said. He turned red.
I mean, your songs are beautiful.
Then he smiled shyly.
But you are beautiful too.
The prince is kind.
Rapunzel thought.
He is smart and handsome too.
The next morning, the witch arrived.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
The witch looked around the tower and frowned.
Where is the hair potion? And the baby sleeping potion? What did you do yesterday?
Rapunzel smiled dreamily.
Nothing much. I will mix the potions now.
She started to chop herbs. But Rapunzel made lots of mistakes.
What's wrong with her?
The witch thought. She gazed around and saw something. It was a lump under Rapunzel's mattress. The witch lifted the mattress.
Where did these books come from?
The witch snapped.
I had them in my pockets
Rapunzel said.
when you first put me here.
The witch muttered something under her breath.
I don't remember that.
That night, the prince visited again. Soon, a voice growled.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel! Let down your hair right now!
Rapunzel, Episode 16. Snip Snip. Rapunzel gasped.
Oh no, Prince! The witch is back! You must hide! Quickly!
The prince crawled under the bed. Rapunzel let down her hair. The witch climbed up.
Is something wrong, witch?
Rapunzel asked.
Did you forget something?
The witch did not answer. She looked around the room. Then she marched over to the bed.
Aha!
The witch dragged the prince out.
I knew someone was visiting you, Rapunzel! You broke your promise again!
The old woman pointed a finger at the prince. She mumbled some magic words.
Zakaboo, okabop.
Then, zap! A spell blasted from her finger. The spell shot the prince far into the forest.
Ah!
Rapunzel screamed.
Where did he go? Is he hurt? Bring him back!
Never!
The witch cried.
You disobeyed me! I will never let you go now! You will stay locked in this tower forever!
No!
Rapunzel cried.
I am almost 18! You said you would let me go home!
The witch laughed.
Silly goose! I was never going to set you free! You will stay here forever! And no one will ever visit you again!
The witch reached into her basket. She pulled out a large pair of scissors. Snip, snip! She cut off Rapunzel's long hair. The witch tied Rapunzel's braid to the window. Then she climbed down. Rapunzel reached for the braid. She started to pull up the hair again.
Drop that!
The witch yelled. She pointed at Rapunzel. Something stung Rapunzel's hand.
Ouch!
Rapunzel cried, letting go. The long rope of hair fell to the ground. It lay in a heap at the bottom of the tower.
Ah!
The witch croaked.
Now you can never escape!
Rapunzel, Episode 17. A Little at a Time. Rapunzel stomped around the room.
The witch cannot trap me here forever. I'll escape from this tower. I'll find the prince and go home.
Rapunzel dropped to the floor.
But how?
Prickle fluttered around her head.
I wish I could fly.
Rapunzel said.
Oh, maybe there's a flying potion.
Rapunzel ran to her magic book. But there was no flying potion.
I have no rope, no potion. What can I do?
Prickle was still fluttering about. Suddenly, Rapunzel had an idea. The bird often brought her things.
That's it!
Rapunzel cried.
Prickle, my hair is at the bottom of the tower. Can you bring it to me?
Prickle chirped and flew to the ground. He grabbed the long rope of hair. But it was heavy. He could not fly. Rapunzel watched him.
Prickle, try a little at a time.
Prickle tried again. He flew up with some hair in his beak. Rapunzel clapped.
Thank you! Can you bring me more?
Prickle flew down again. He came back with more hair. He flew back and forth again and again. Before long, Rapunzel had a new rope. Quickly, she made a bag from a sheet. She put some things in the bag. She tossed it out the window. Rapunzel tied the rope to the window and slid down.
I'm free!
She cried.
Now I will find the prince!
She ran through the forest. She searched everywhere. The moon was bright, but the woods were dark.
Prince, where are you?
She called. Suddenly, she heard a groan.
The prince!
Rapunzel cried happily. A dark shape lay on the ground. But it was not the prince. It was the witch. Rapunzel, Episode 18, The Witch's Story.
I am very ill.
The witch moaned. Rapunzel scowled.
You are sick from using too much magic.
The witch tried to sit up.
That rotten prince ruined everything.
No,
Rapunzel said.
you ruined everything. You hurt the prince with your awful spell. And you stole me from my family.
The witch looked away.
I had a daughter, but she died when she was 10. I was sad and lonely. I wanted a family again.
The witch sniffed.
I thought you could be my daughter. I was going to keep you with me forever. But then that prince
The witch lay back down.
Please, Rapunzel, help me!
She begged. Rapunzel thought for a moment.
I will heal you,
She said.
but you must make me a promise.
What?
The witch croaked.
You must let me go home.
Rapunzel said. The witch was silent. Rapunzel spun around.
Goodbye!
Fine!
The witch said.
You may go home!
Good.
Rapunzel came back. She took out her healing potions. She dripped drops into the witch's mouth. She rubbed lotion onto the witch's skin. Slowly, the witch sat up.
You are free now, so go home!
Rapunzel quickly spun away from the witch. She never wanted to see the evil woman again. Rapunzel ran off into the forest. She heard the witch laugh loudly.
Good luck finding the prince! If he's still alive!
Rapunzel gasped.
I must hurry.
She called for the prince,
Prince? Prince?
but no one answered.
Where are you?
She searched the woods for hours.
Prince?
The prince was nowhere to be found. Rapunzel's legs and feet ached. She wanted to keep searching, but she was too tired to move further. Rapunzel, Episode 19, A Ditch. The prince stumbled through the forest for hours. His leg hurt, and one arm was broken.
I will find my way to the palace.
He thought.
Then I will go back to the tower and...
The prince tripped on a tree root. As he fell forward, sharp thorns scratched his face. His head hit a big rock. Then everything went black. The next morning, Rapunzel woke at sunrise.
Oh no! I fell asleep!
She thought. She began looking for the prince again. Suddenly, Prickle flew to her. He flapped his wings and chirped.
Prickle?
Rapunzel said.
Do you want me to follow you?
Prickle took off through the forest. Rapunzel ran after him. At last, Prickle stopped. He chirped loudly near some thorn bushes. Beyond the thorn bushes was a ditch. Rapunzel ran to the ditch and peered down. Someone lay in the mud.
Prince?
Rapunzel cried. There was no answer. She yelled again.
Prince!
At last, she heard a low moan.
Rapunzel.
The prince said weakly.
Yes!
Rapunzel cried.
It's me!
Rapunzel ran into the ditch. She grabbed the prince's hand. He tried to sit up, but he was too weak.
Don't move, Prince.
Rapunzel said.
How did you get out of the tower?
He asked.
I will explain everything later.
Rapunzel said. Rapunzel checked the prince's wounds. He had scratches on his face. There was a large cut on his head. His breathing was weak. Tears streamed from Rapunzel's eyes.
I found you, my darling prince.
She said.
Now I must find a way to save you.
She grabbed her healing potions and gasped. They were almost gone.
Oh no! I used them all on the witch!
Rapunzel, Episode 20, A Beautiful Song. Rapunzel tried to help the prince up. He cried. The prince could not stand.
You must go for help.
He said.
I cannot leave you here.
Rapunzel said.
Oh! Your servant will look for you, right?
The prince nodded weakly. Prickle was still fluttering above the ditch.
Prickle!
She said.
Can you find the prince's servant?
Prickle flew off. Rapunzel's heart sank when Prickle finally returned. Prickle was all alone. Rapunzel began to cry.
Don't cry.
The prince whispered.
Please sing for me one last time.
Suddenly, an idea came to her. Would it work? She reached into her bag for her echo potion. She dripped drops in her mouth and began to sing. Her voice drifted up from the ditch. It echoed through the forest.
Beautiful,
the prince whispered.
Please, don't die.
Rapunzel begged. Suddenly, Rapunzel saw a carriage appear. The prince's servant peered into the ditch.
I followed the song and found you!
He cried.
Hurry! The prince is dying!
Rapunzel cried.
We must get him to a doctor!
Days went by, but the prince did not wake up. Rapunzel stayed by his side at the palace. She sang to him every day. Finally, one morning, his eyes opened.
My prince!
Rapunzel said. He smiled.
My darling Rapunzel.
A few days later, the prince was better. Rapunzel and the prince went to a small farm.
Mama! Papa!
She cried.
Rapunzel!
Mama and Papa shouted. She hugged her parents.
I'm going to marry the prince.
The prince hurried over to meet them.
You must come live with us at the palace!
Rapunzel smiled.
We will all live happily ever after.
And they did.